There's something that nobody tells you until it's too late. When you hurt a Scorpio, you don't just break a heart, you disturb a spiritual force that's wired into the very threads of karma itself. And if you think you can walk away untouched, watch what begins to fall apart in your own life. This isn't superstition, it's a pattern, a cycle, a cosmic law written in the blood and silence of Scorpio's soul. Because Scorpio isn't like the others, they're ruled by Pluto, the planet of death, transformation, and hidden truths. They don't just feel pain, they absorb it, bury it, and let the universe sculpt justice from it. And the universe always does. You might think the Scorpio has moved on. They stopped talking. They walked away. You think you've won. But weeks later, your peace begins to erode, your health falters, relationships break. Suddenly the world turns cold and you don't even realize why. That's karma. And Scorpio, they were simply the mirror, the test, the soul contract you failed. In this video, I will reveal to you, not just through words but through truth wrapped in spiritual fire, the 12 real reasons why karma never stays silent when a Scorpio has been wronged. You will understand why hurting a Scorpio isn't just a mistake. It's a decision that activates something much bigger than yourself. Stay with me until the end, because by the time we finish, you won't just respect Scorpio, you'll rethink every soul you've ever hurt. Now, let's begin. Reason: you betrayed their trust and the universe betrayed you. Let's be clear. Scorpio doesn't trust easily. When they open up to you, it's not just emotional, it's spiritual permission. You're not just entering their heart, you're entering their inner temple. And once inside, everything is sacred. So when someone betrays a Scorpio's trust, when they lie, cheat, manipulate, or talk behind their back, they aren't just hurting a person, they are violating a soul contract. Let me tell you a real story. A Scorpio woman I worked with, quiet, composed, deeply intuitive, once fell in love with a man who promised forever. He looked into her eyes and said, "You're the only one," but behind the scenes he was entertaining someone else. He thought he was clever, that she would never know. But here's the truth. You don't lie to a Scorpio, you lie to yourself thinking they didn't feel it, because Scorpios don't need evidence, they have intuition sharper than a blade. She never confronted him. She didn't scream. She didn't plead. She simply said, "Thank you," and disappeared. And then, one by one, his life fell apart. His next relationship ended in betrayal. His job gone. His friendships empty. He began to feel like everything was slipping through his hands and no one could tell him why. But I could. Because when you break the sacred trust of a Scorpio, the universe mirrors that betrayal back into your life. What you gave in deception, you receive in distortion. What you offered in manipulation, you receive in collapse. You see, Scorpio is ruled by Pluto, the gatekeeper of transformation and karmic cycles. They don't fight dirty. They don't need to. The cosmos fights on their behalf. They disappear and karma appears. This isn't about revenge, it's about energy. It's about how betrayal rips a hole in the spiritual contract between souls, and that tear demands to be balanced. And that balance often comes at a heavy price. Life lesson: never enter the heart of a Scorpio unless your soul is ready to be honest, because their trust is not something you borrow, it's something you must honor. And when you dishonor it, the universe becomes your reflection. Reason 2, you played with their emotions and karma played with your reality. Scorpio doesn't just feel emotions, they embody them. Their love is tidal, their loyalty is oceanic, their depth unfathomable. So when someone chooses to toy with their emotions to create false hope, to love bomb, to give them the illusion of intimacy just to take it away, they aren't just playing with feelings, they're tampering with soul energy. And the universe doesn't take that lightly. Let me paint you a picture. A Scorpio man once fell for someone who called herself just a free spirit. She texted him every morning, "You're the only one who understands me. She shared her secrets, her pain, her dreams, and made him feel chosen. She said things like, "I've never opened up like this to anyone before." But behind the scenes, she was doing the exact same thing with 3 other people. She wasn't building connection, she was collecting attention. She didn't want love, she wanted control. At first, he was shattered, but he didn't react, he didn't confront. He simply pulled his energy back, quietly, without drama. What happened next was brutal. Her popularity plummeted. Those other options, gone. One by one, the people she juggled began to ghost her. Her online presence got shadow banned. Even her finances, which had been flowing steadily, took a sharp nosedive. Because Scorpio emotions are sacred, you don't pretend to care for a Scorpio and expect the universe to stay silent. When you awaken their feelings with false intentions, you trigger an energetic backlash that begins subtly and ends loudly. Scorpio's energy is tied to transformation, resurrection, and revelation. So if you were fake with them, the truth of who you are will be exposed in your world. People will start to see you clearly. Your mask won't stick anymore, and reality will start to bend in strange ways. Because karma doesn't forget the Scorpio heart. Life lesson. Don't pull strings you don't intend to hold. When you manipulate a Scorpio's emotions, you invite the universe to manipulate your peace. Honesty is the only language their soul respects, and the only shield against karmic fire. Reason 3. You publicly humiliated a Scorpio, and karma publicly undressed your soul. There's a line people should never cross, but some still do. Embarrassing a Scorpio in public. See? Scorpio may stay composed on the outside, but they never forget how you made them feel in front of others. It's one thing to disagree in private. It's another to weaponize their vulnerability in front of a crowd, in front of friends, in front of strangers, and expect no consequence. Let me take you into a story that left a mark on everyone who witnessed it. A Scorpio woman highly respected at her job was betrayed by her colleague during a major presentation. They had built it together. They rehearsed it for weeks. But right before stepping on stage, her colleague changed the script, making her look confused, unprepared, even incompetent. And in front of the board, she froze. He took the lead, took the credit, and smirked through her silence. People thought he'd won. But Scorpio doesn't respond with noise. They respond with energy, and so does the universe. Within a month, the client they secured canceled the contract. The man's laptop was hacked. Internal emails revealed his manipulation. Not only was he fired, but his entire reputation across the industry was shattered. And the Scorpio, she was promoted, because the truth always finds light. Scorpio is ruled by Pluto, planet of power reversals. When you try to rise by stepping on their shoulders, you may not notice how high you are, until the platform collapses beneath your own pride. Public humiliation of a Scorpio sends a signal to the universe: this soul is under attack. And the universe doesn't retaliate, it reveals. It reveals your motives, your lies, your character. And when the curtain is pulled, you're left naked in front of the same audience you once tried to impress. Life lesson. The truth doesn't need a microphone. When you try to shame a Scorpio publicly, the universe makes sure your own story gets told louder, clearer, and without your permission. Respect their silence, because that silence holds storms. Reason 4. You ghosted a Scorpio, but karma made sure you were the one forgotten. Ghosting a Scorpio is like walking out of a sacred temple mid-prayer. You don't just leave, you disrupt a sacred exchange, and the energy you interrupt doesn't vanish. It lingers, it remembers, and it returns. Let me tell you a story that still sends chills. There was a man, magnetic confident, who fell for a Scorpio woman. She wasn't easy to win over, but eventually she opened up. And when she loved fully, deeply, exclusively. He told her, "I've never met anyone like you." She believed it. And then out of nowhere, he disappeared. No message, no closure, no explanation. She waited for a day, then a week, then a month, and then she went quiet. But don't confuse her silence with weakness. In Scorpio's world, silence is a spell. It calls karma like a bell. 6 months later, that same man began to experience a strange emptiness. The other women didn't connect with him. His business stagnant, his phone silent. He began to feel invisible. The world that once noticed him, forgot him. People forgot to invite him. Opportunities slipped through his fingers. He became a ghost, the very thing he once used to wound her. Because when you ghost a Scorpio, you're not just leaving their life, you're leaving behind an echo that replays in your own. They won't chase, they won't beg, they will go within. And when they do, the universe rises on their behalf. Scorpios are ruled by Pluto, the ruler of the unseen, the subconscious, the afterlife. Their pain doesn't fade, it transforms into silence. And that silence, it becomes your shadow. Life lesson: disappearing doesn't erase your energy, it activates it. When you ghost a Scorpio, karma doesn't punish you with noise. It punishes you with absence, until you become the one who's left wondering, why did everyone stop showing up for me? Reason 5. You lied to a Scorpio to protect yourself, but karma exposed you to protect the truth. Lying to a Scorpio might feel like a quick escape in the moment, but what you're really doing is digging your own spiritual grave. Scorpio isn't just ruled by emotion, they are ruled by truth, by the unseen, by what's beneath the surface. When you lie to them, especially to cover your own flaws, to twist the facts, or to save face, you don't just break trust, you break a sacred law that governs emotional reality. Let me tell you what happened to someone who tried this. A Scorpio man was in a long-term relationship with a woman who repeatedly told him, "You're paranoid, you're imagining things." Every time he sensed something was wrong, she made him feel crazy for even asking. She swore she wasn't texting her ex. She swore the business trip had no one else there. She swore she was loyal. But Scorpio's gift isn't what you say, it's what your energy can't hide. So he went silent, and she thought she'd won, that her charm, her confidence, her little white lies had covered her tracks. But karma was already working. 3 months later, her phone was stolen. And it wasn't just the phone that was breached, it was her carefully constructed image. Photos, messages, screenshots. Everything came to light, not just to him, but to her family, her workplace, and her online circles. And it didn't end there. Suddenly, people stopped trusting her. Even in places where no one knew the story, something about her repelled truth. Because when you lie to a Scorpio, you distort your energetic integrity. And karma always repairs distortion by removing the mask. Pluto, Scorpio's ruler, governs death and resurrection, but it also governs revelation. So when you bury the truth to survive, the universe will resurrect it to set the Scorpio free, even if it means destroying your false self in the process. Life lesson. A lie may protect you for a moment, but the truth protects your soul. When you lie to a Scorpio, you aren't fooling them. You're challenging the universe to correct you. And trust me, correction always comes with interest. Reason 6. You tried to emotionally manipulate a Scorpio, but karma made you lose control of your own emotions. Let's get one thing straight. Scorpios are emotional, yes, but weak, never. They feel things deeply, but that depth is also wisdom. And if you try to weaponize their sensitivity against them, to guilt-trip, gaslight, or provoke a reaction just to gain control, you're playing with a force far beyond your understanding. Let me tell you about a woman who tried. She dated a Scorpio man who was calm, loyal, and deeply intuitive. He always made time for her. He asked deep questions. He made her feel like the center of the universe. But that wasn't enough. She wanted to test him, so she began to play games. She'd pull away for days, then return crying. She'd post cryptic messages to make him jealous. She'd say, "If you really loved me, you'd chase me." She mistook his emotional depth for weakness. She thought, "I can control this one." But the truth is, Scorpio doesn't explode. They observe. And the more they observe, the more detached they become. One night, she launched into a dramatic scene accusing him of being cold, distant, heartless. She cried, she screamed, she said, "You made me this way." He looked at her with the same calm he always had and replied, "No, you made yourself this way." Then he walked away for good. Here's where karma begins. After that, she started to experience unexplained panic attacks, emotional instability, outbursts with friends, sudden anxiety in places where she once felt powerful. Because when you try to twist someone's heart for control, karma doesn't just take your power away, it takes your grip on yourself. Scorpio energy is transformational, so when you use their emotional world as a weapon, that same weapon implodes inside of you. Pluto doesn't allow manipulation to go uncorrected. It takes what you tried to control and makes you the one spiraling. Life lesson: don't mistake emotional depth for emotional weakness. When you manipulate a Scorpio's heart, you invite chaos into your own. The universe doesn't let you puppeteer others without cutting your own strings. Reason 7. You dismissed their pain. So karma made you feel the same pain. Louder, there's something cruel in this world in validating someone else's pain, especially when that someone is a Scorpio. Because when a Scorpio opens up about their wounds, they're not asking for pity. They're giving you the honor of seeing behind the armor. So when you say things like, "Stop being so dramatic, you're too sensitive," it wasn't that big of a deal. You're not just rejecting their emotion, you're rejecting their truth. And the universe listens closely when truth is rejected. Let me tell you about a case that still haunts the person involved. A Scorpio woman had a childhood scar, not just physical but emotional. She shared it trembling with the man she trusted. She told him how that moment shaped the way she sees love, safety, and vulnerability. He looked at her, shrugged, and said, "You should be over that by now." What happened next wasn't immediate, but it was precise. Months later, he faced his own trauma, the loss of a close friend. For the first time in years, he felt fragile. He tried to open up, to seek support, and every person he turned to responded with, "You'll be fine. That's life. Toughen up." Sound familiar? Karma returned his indifference word for word, and when he sat alone in his grief, he finally understood what he once dismissed. Because Scorpio pain doesn't ask for attention, it asks for reverence. Their suffering runs deep, it's ancestral, it's spiritual. When you diminish it, you're not silencing them, you're activating a karmic mirror that will teach you the lesson through your own heartbreak. Life lesson: pain deserves presence, not judgment. When you dismiss a Scorpio's wounds, karma shows you what it's like to bleed, with no one willing to see. Always honor the depth of another, because tomorrow that depth might become your own. Reason 8. You betrayed a Scorpio, then played the victim. But karma reversed the narrative. Scorpio doesn't just hate betrayal, they feel it on a soul level. But what cuts even deeper is when the one who betrayed them tries to flip the script. Suddenly, the traitor becomes the hurt one. Suddenly, the Scorpio, the one bleeding, is painted as toxic, cold, or obsessive. It's a manipulation as old as time, and karma always knows exactly what to do with it. Let me tell you about a man who made that mistake. He cheated on a Scorpio repeatedly. She found out. Did she scream? No. Did she lash out? No. She just withdrew. Quiet, focused, unreachable. And that scared him more than any confrontation. But instead of reflecting, he started telling people, She's emotionally unstable. She's crazy. She pushed me away. He turned her silence into his weapon. He played the victim beautifully, and for a while people believed him. But Scorpio is ruled by Pluto, and Pluto doesn't let lies last long. A few months later, screenshots began surfacing. Old messages, private conversations, even friends started coming forward. The narrative collapsed. People began to see through him not because she exposed him, but because the truth surfaced by itself. That's the thing about karmic justice. It doesn't shout, it reveals. And when karma rewrites the narrative, it does so in front of the very audience you once manipulated. He lost credibility. He lost allies. And the Scorpio, she rose not in revenge, but in radiance. Because when a Scorpio has been unjustly blamed, the universe doesn't just bring truth, it brings balance, life. Lesson: if you hurt someone, own it, don't disguise it. When you betray a Scorpio and then play the victim, you trigger karma to play the truth, louder roar, and undeniably real. The universe may be patient, but it is never blind. Reason 9. You took their loyalty for granted, so karma let you taste abandonment. There's something sacred about a Scorpio's loyalty. It's not casual, it's not convenient, it's cosmic. When a Scorpio chooses you, they don't do it halfway. They protect you in silence. They fight for you in private. They forgive what others wouldn't. But here's the danger. Some people get used to that loyalty. They start believing it's permanent. They start testing boundaries, believing the Scorpio will always stay, always bend, always return, until one day they don't. Let me tell you a story that reveals this truth in raw clarity. A Scorpio man supported his partner through everything: debt, depression, family chaos. He showed up every time. No matter how hard things got, he stayed loyal. But as time passed, she began to test that loyalty. She grew distant. She entertained attention from others. She mocked his intensity, and every time he confronted her, she said, "You're not going anywhere you love too hard." She was right until she wasn't, because one night he walked away. No fight, no drama, just silence and closure he gave himself. At first, she felt relief, freedom. She thought he'll come back. But weeks passed, months. He didn't return. And worse, no one else ever showed up for her the way he did. And that's when karma began to speak. Suddenly, she became the one no one stayed for. Friends flaked, lovers ghosted, support disappeared. Every time she reached out, the universe echoed back, nothing. Because karma doesn't just take away the Scorpio, it makes you crave the loyalty you destroyed. It makes you feel in your own bones what it's like to be abandoned by presence, patience, and protection. Scorpio loyalty is a spiritual anchor. When you treat it like an option, karma removes it like a lifeline just when you need it most. Life lesson: don't mistake unwavering presence for weakness. When a Scorpio is loyal, it's a sacred offering, not a leash. Take it for granted, and karma will teach you what it feels like to need someone and find no one there. Reason 10. You mocked their dream, but karma made yours crumble in front of you. Scorpios are visionaries, but they don't shout their dreams from rooftops. They protect them, nurture them in the dark, and build silently, brick by sacred brick. So when someone laughs at their vision, when they say things like, "That'll never happen," you're wasting your time. You're too intense, just live a little. They're not just mocking a plan, they're mocking a soul's mission. Let me take you into one such story. A Scorpio woman had a dream to leave her 9-to-5, open a healing center, and create a space for spiritual transformation. Her partner at the time, smug, logical, controlling, laughed. A healing center in this economy? Come on, be realistic. He said he loved her but never supported her. Instead, he ridiculed her passion, calling it new age fluff. She didn't argue, she just withdrew and built. Years passed. And one day he lost his job. Suddenly, he had an idea to start a coaching business, to follow his passion. But karma had already taken notes. Every investor he met turned him down. Every post he made flopped. Every attempt failed. Meanwhile, the Scorpio center fully booked. Clients from around the country, her face on wellness magazines, her voice guiding hundreds. Because the universe doesn't reward those who mock the light in others. It rewards those who protect the fire within. When you mock a Scorpio's dream, you mock something divinely assigned to them. And karma responds not by punishing directly, but by allowing you to face the very doubt you once projected. Suddenly, your path is unclear. Your vision fades. Your steps feel unstable. That's karma whispering. Do you remember when you tried to snuff out a star? Life lesson: never laugh at someone else's calling, especially if it's whispered, not shouted. Because when you mock the passion of a Scorpio, you curse your own. And while they rise in silence, you may find your dream slipping through hands that once pointed and laughed. Reason 11. You mocked their transformation, but karma trapped you in your own stagnation. If there's one thing Scorpio is born to do, it's transform. Not once, not twice, but again and again. Like the phoenix they truly are. They shed layers, burn identities, and rise from ashes most people wouldn't dare touch. And they do it quietly, privately, without applause or validation. But sometimes someone close sees this journey, and instead of honoring it, they mock it. Oh, so now you're spiritual? You think journaling and meditating will fix everything? Wow, must be nice to pretend you've changed. That's exactly what happened to one Scorpio man I knew. He was once the party guy. Wild, unpredictable, emotionally closed off. Then came the dark night of the soul. He hit bottom, and something cracked open inside him. He started therapy. He quit drinking. He went vegan. He started writing about grief and healing. And for the first time in years, he started seeing who he really was. But his old friends, they laughed. They said, "You're just faking it to impress someone." They invited him out just to tempt him and then laughed when he said no. But he stayed on his path, and they stayed the same. 2 years later, those same friends were stuck in cycles, toxic relationships, financial messes, addiction spirals, self-sabotage. And he was helping others break free. He was living what they thought was impossible. Because when you mock someone's transformation, karma holds your evolution hostage. You don't move forward, you repeat. The very chains you laughed at someone for breaking become the ones that tighten around your own spirit. Scorpios are ruled by Pluto, the planet of death and rebirth. Their transformation is not a trend, it's a cosmic assignment, and karma defends it ferociously. Life lesson: respect the rebirths of others or remain trapped in your own decay. When you laugh at a Scorpio's growth, you send karma a message: I don't value change. And karma responds: then stay exactly where you are. Reason 12. You were met with Scorpio's silence, and karma made that silence echo in your life forever. There's a moment in every story with a Scorpio when they stop speaking. No anger, no explanation, no closure. Just silence. And while most people think that silence means they've moved on, the truth is far more haunting. Because Scorpio's silence is never empty. It's full of power, full of knowing, and full of karmic weight. Let me tell you about a woman who didn't understand this until it was too late. She was in love with a Scorpio man. He loved her deeply, not in loud ways, but in presence, devotion, sacrifice. But she kept pushing him away, taking advantage, playing the hot and cold game. And every time he gave her another chance, until he didn't. One day, he simply went silent. She messaged, no reply. She called, blocked. She asked around. No one knew. But what she didn't realize was that his silence wasn't revenge. It was release and karma. It echoed that silence into every corner of her life. Conversations with others began to feel hollow. No one stayed present with her. She craved connection and got surface. She longed for meaning and met distraction. She missed him not just as a person, but as a frequency that no one else could hold. Because when a Scorpio goes silent, the universe begins to speak on their behalf. And what it says is clear. You didn't value their voice. Now feel their absence. Scorpios don't end things the way others do. They don't shout blame or beg. They cut energetically. And when that thread is severed, karma steps in to finish the sentence. That's why so many people say, I didn't realize what I had until it was gone. But with Scorpio, it's not just about realizing, it's about living inside that void. Life lesson, don't wait for Scorpio's silence to learn how to listen. Because once they go quiet, it's already too late. And the only voice left will be karma repeating the very lesson you refused to hear. Now you know. It's not Scorpio who punishes, it's the energy they carry, the soul contracts they hold, and the spiritual mirror they represent. Hurt them and you don't just lose them, you awaken a force that reflects everything you did back into your life. But respect them, love them with truth, and you gain a guardian, a healer, a soul who will walk through fire just to protect you. So ask yourself now, have you ever hurt a Scorpio? Or are you the Scorpio, still watching karma work in silence? Either way, leave your story in the comments. Because every Scorpio has seen karma and every soul has met their reflection. And if you're ready for more Scorpio wisdom, subscribe to this channel right now. This is the path to Buddha wisdom, and we don't just speak about Scorpio, we speak from the soul of Scorpio.